Hello everybody, welcome to my presentation for COMM 460, a study of internet memes. Memes from Reddit, 4chan, and other places on the internet. A presentation by Ryan Hanna. So, the first thing I wanted to cover on this topic is why is studying memes still relevant, like in this day and age? Because obviously the concept of memes has been around for several decades at this point, since like the 1960s. So, like, I guess, how do we not know everything about memes that there is to know already? Why is it still worth pursuing? So, and then, even though the era of rage comics and the Reddit memes, which rage comics, for anybody that doesn't know, these are like, I don't know if it necessarily includes this meme, the troll face here, but it includes a lot of like, memes back in like around like 2009 era Reddit and stuff like that. That was back whenever I first started hearing the term memes be thrown around colloquially. And throughout this presentation, there will be like a few of the more memorable memes from that sort of series of memes of the Rage comic era. Hidden. Or not really hidden, but just posted on the slides. So even though this era is over, it's still relevant. Even though the Rage comic memes aren't really as big of a deal as they used to be, there's still plenty of memes going around. Like for example, like a brand new one would be like the Will Smith slap meme, where he slapped Chris Rock at the Oscars. That's like a classic like meme format. Like I'm sure you all have seen the picture I'm talking about, where Will Smith is slapping and Chris Rock is like wincing, taking the slap. So as you can see, it still goes on to this day. And so the main focus of this, obviously, is learning about memes, but specifically, I want to learn about the human psychology behind memes, what makes them spread, what makes them viral, shareable, and consumable to a massive population. And I'm especially focused on like internet memes and like the modern era of memes, basically like the most recent memes, so to speak. So I've included 3 sources throughout this presentation, and one of them I actually had in my lit review earlier, but I brought it back because it was still relevant enough, and 2 of them were like additional sources that I've just found while working on the paper. So this article is called Dank or Not, Analyzing and Predicting the Popularity of Memes on Reddit. And this quote from it was just from like the introduction, like the abstract of it, but it was still relevant enough, and sort of covered kind of the same basis that I'm looking to cover in my research. So, and the quote goes, "Internet memes have become an increasingly pervasive form of contemporary social communication that attracted a lot of research interest recently. In this paper, we analyzed the data of 129,326 memes collected from Reddit in the middle of March 2020, when the most serious coronavirus restrictions were being introduced around the world." And quite a few of the sources that I've used during the construction of this paper are studying memes around like the COVID era, which makes sense because so many people were forced to be at home, so they had like pretty much nothing better to do in a lot of cases other than browse the internet or use applications that were like internet based, like TikTok or whatever. And then as far as like the overall like outlook of like the research that I've done on memes is concerned, so like what are any potential problems or concerns? So my goal is like relatively vague. So like with a goal as vague as learning more about what makes memes viral, shareable, and consumable to a massive population. It can be awkward to classify the degree to which the goal has been accomplished. So it's somewhat hard to say, like there's a lot of like I don't have very much like quantifiable hard data to go off of. It's more like interpretive in scope. It's less like purely scientific. But I'm still looking to use a scientific approach if and when possible. So since my goals are relatively vague, the definition I'll use, it has to be a little bit unconventional. So I said like, therefore the way I will define accomplishing my goals on the topic of understanding memes, how and why they spread, as being satisfied when I feel comfortable enough with the topic to teach at least some elements of it to others. So that, again, that's still somewhat vague, but the main point is if I can explain to somebody else why the memes are catching on, or at least can like can explain like at least partially explain it, then I'll consider that a success. Okay, so the second source I've used, so I have three sources in this presentation. This is the second source I've used, and this one won't be a direct quote. This is just talking about like how the source works and like why it fits into the research. So this source is, it wasn't just the trolls, early internet culture, fun and fires of exclusionary laughter by Whitney Phillips. So this source is still valuable to the research because it highlights like specific online subcultures and the ways that they develop and utilize a shared language of communication in the form of memes. This source was incredibly helpful just in terms of allowing me to understand the psychological and social conditions that needed to already be in place in order for people to develop and utilize internet memes as a form of communicating, and also as a form of relating to and with one another. So I found that in the research I've done, for example, like a lot of the memes that really catch on are the ones that are like, I mean, obviously they're like relatable. So we'll see in some in future slides, like this one. So this is another meme. So we've already covered the troll face meme. That was the first one before. I should have said that earlier. I'm sure a lot of people in that watch the video already understand what it is. That's why I didn't even think about introducing it. Actually, it's so like ubiquitously known. But the first picture, the big face, was that's usually a meme that's meant to denote like something that's like inconveniencing you or annoying you, aka trolling you. And this meme is it's like the guy eating cereal. This is basically like a reaction meme where the reason you would share this meme with somebody is you see something on the news or in current events, for example, and you think it's like ridiculous or crazy or like upsetting, like it's something that makes you like have some sort of reaction, feel some type of way. And so this is like what this whole slide is covering too. It is like, what's the meaning behind the memes? Because okay, like memes are being spread, but like why are they being spread, and why do people value them as a form of communication? Here's another one. So this is the Forever Alone meme. This is one that's meant to be like somebody that's like socially awkward, basically, like very, very socially awkward, and does something like really awkward and just like goes inside themselves in the awkwardness and just can't deal with the stress of the social situation that they've created for themselves. But that has just about nothing to do with this except for the fact that it is a meme. This one would actually probably be a better fit with the troll face when I think about it, but whatever. It still works. This is still sort of like a troublemaking meme because it's still kind of like a negative connotation to it. The troll face is just more of like inconvenience, whereas this meme is sort of, like, again, awkwardness. And so this source is Memes in a Digital World, Reconciling with the Conceptual Troublemaker by Lemore Schiffman. And a quote that I found relevant from this source was, "The uptick in vibrant popular discourse about memes in an era increasingly defined by internet communication is not coincidental. While memes were conceptualized long before the digital era, the unique features of the internet turned their diffusion into a ubiquitous and highly visible routine." So if that's like going over your head or sounds like way too advanced, I can sort of break that down into like layperson language, I guess. Basically, what this quote means to me anyways is even though these memes were like, even though memes like were around long before the internet has highlighted them and has put like a magnifying glass on them and pushed them to the forefront of the cultural zeitgeist. And again, so sort of like with like my goals for this, it's somewhat difficult to truly to truly define any conclusions or takeaways that I got, but it's not impossible. And I would say the biggest conclusion, like if I had to like boil this whole paper that I'm writing down into like a sentence or like a few sentences, the gist of it would be, uh, people basically they enjoy some aspect of a certain meme, either consciously or subconsciously, and then they're compelled to share it with others. And then in turn, the other people feel, if not all of them, at least some of them feel the exact same way, and then they feel compelled to share it with others, and then it just keeps going. And that's why memes propagate. And these are the three sources I used, and thank you for listening to my presentation.